that your privacy is gone?
I never shopped in a mall, but I can. I can go to a mall and nobody really knows who I am.
After a serious heart attack and other health issues, Ritchie Blackmore is facing some major challenges in his life. At the age of 80, he has just admitted the truth that has left fans emotional. Does this rock star still have the strength to continue his passion for music? And what did he admit? Heart attack halted career. Ritchie Blackmore's legendary career, co-founder of Deep Purple and Rainbow, has been abruptly interrupted after serious health complications he has been facing. In an emotional interview with Total Rock, Candace Knight, his wife and longtime co-star in Blackmore's Night, has publicly revealed his current health condition for the first time, leaving fans around the world shocked and worried. Candace Knight confirmed that Ritchie Blackmore suffered a serious heart attack in early. The information was kept completely secret from the media and fans until she shared it in a conversation with Total Rock journalist Dawn Osborne. Ritchie had a heart attack about a year and a half ago, Candace said, leaving fans in shock as they had no idea what was going on behind the scenes. The heart attack led to a series of dangerous complications, forcing Blackmore to have 6 stents inserted in his coronary arteries, a sign that he was living with severe coronary artery disease. It was a major turning point not only for the health, but also for the performing career of one of the greatest guitarists in rock history. Because of his serious heart condition, his specialist had strict instructions. Ritchie Blackmore was not allowed to fly. This was a huge blow to the plans to retour Europe for Blackmore's Night, the folk rock band he co-founded with Candace and has been with for more than 2 decades. He just had a heart check and the doctor said very clearly no flying, Candace shared. This means that all international tours, especially in Europe, are currently postponed indefinitely, if not canceled altogether. Fans who once longed to see their idol perform live will probably only have the chance to see him through limited performances in the area near where he lives. Ritchie Blackmore's current health is not limited only by heart disease, but also by a series of other chronic problems that make continuing to perform increasingly difficult tasks. At nearly 80 years old, he is dealing with gout, a disease that causes inflammation and severe pain in the joints, especially the feet, making it extremely difficult to stand for long periods or move around on stage. In addition, the arthritis has significantly reduced the flexibility of the joints in his hands, a key factor for a talented guitarist like him. In addition, Blackmore has suffered from chronic back pain for many years, with the pain directly affecting both his ability to perform and his daily activities. Ritchie Blackmore's first public admission that a serious heart attack has ended his international career has left fans heartbroken. But is this the end for the guitar legend? While his health remains a major concern, his wife, singer Candace Knight, is urging something unexpected to get him back on stage, even if only close to home. Can Blackmore's love of music help him overcome the limitations of age and illness? Trade-off decision. Despite facing a series of serious health issues from a near-fatal heart attack to 6 coronary stents to gout, arthritis and chronic back pain, Ritchie Blackmore has not been forgotten in the music world. On the contrary, the love of fans and the constant encouragement of his beloved wife, singer Candace Knight, have provided the guitar legend with great strength as he struggles to balance his health and passion for art. Despite dire medical warnings and advice against flying, Candace Knight has been steadfast in her husband's desire to return to performing, albeit on a smaller scale, closer to home, and under more limited conditions. She expressed confidence that fans will not judge or demand that Blackmore maintain his former flamboyant image, but simply be eager to hear music from the artist they love. He was worried that if he wasn't on stage anymore, if he wasn't performing like a legend, people would be disappointed. But I think it's the exact opposite, Knight said tearily. I think they'd just be grateful to share the space with him, to hear him play, even if it was just improvisation, because to them it's a living piece of musical history. Knight also revealed that the couple regularly have gentle debates about whether to return to the stage. We talk about it all the time. Sometimes it's an argument, sometimes it's a gentle conversation. But it's always there, she shared. That said, while Blackmore has deep concerns about his public image, he hasn't completely closed the door on music. In a testament to that spirit, Blackmore's Night, the couple's medieval and folk music project, has announced a return to the US in June and July. While the tour will be limited to locations within driving distance, it's still good news for their loyal fan base. With the poetic tagline, "Join us this summer as the mystical fire burns at midnight," the duo offers an inspiring invitation to their audience, a declaration that the music never stops, even when the body is tired. Ritchie Blackmore's deepest concern, however, is not his physical health, but the final image he leaves in the public's mind. I think he's afraid that people will remember him as the old man sitting on stage with a guitar, not the guy who walked into the spotlight and set the stage on fire with Deep Purple or Rainbow, Knight confided. She doesn't deny the harsh reality. "I've seen many artists even younger than him perform in wheelchairs or very poor health, but they still make the whole audience go silent. With a strong belief that genuine music will always be accepted, Knight is trying to spread positive energy, hoping to gradually rekindle Blackmore's passion for the stage." At nearly 80 years old, Blackmore is at a crossroads. On one side is his increasingly frail body, on the other is the eternal calling of art. Candice Knight, his partner and colleague of nearly 2 decades, still maintains a clear message. Even if it's just a few notes played in a small corner of the stage, it's worth the millions of hearts that have been touched by his music. Could the man who once dazzled the world with his timeless riffs ever return, even if it's just to play a tune by candlelight? And if that happens, would you be ready to embrace Ritchie Blackmore, not as a star of the past, but as an artist living in the present? Candice Knight's persistence and optimism in constantly urging her husband to return to the stage seem to stem not only from love, but also from a strong belief in the audience's welcome. But does reality reflect expectations? When Blackmore appeared looking older and slower than before, what did the fans' reactions reveal? Is the public ready to accept a legend who is no longer himself, or are they still secretly expecting the flashy, invincible image of the past? The fans' reaction to Ritchie Blackmore's current image is the biggest emotional test of this heartbreaking comeback journey. What do you think? Are the audiences truly forgiving enough to love even the last trembling notes? Or is it the weakness that makes their hearts break more than ever? Fans react. News of Ritchie Blackmore's health has sent shockwaves through the rock community, sparking a wave of intense emotion from fans around the world. After years of keeping his personal health issues private, Candice Knight, his partner and musical collaborator, revealed that the guitar legend had suffered a major heart attack, along with a host of other chronic complications such as gout, arthritis, and persistent back pain. These revelations not only made people realize the fragility behind his invincible image, but also made the name Ritchie Blackmore once again the focus of every international music forum. Immediately after the news was announced, the phrase, "How old is Ritchie Blackmore?" quickly became a top search keyword worldwide. Many fans, especially the younger generation who are used to the timeless sounds of Smoke on the Water and Highway Star, were shocked to learn that the Deep Purple co-founder and icon of 70s hard rock had turned. On social media, emotional statuses appeared densely. "I grew up listening to his riffs, but I never thought he was this old. His music made me feel like he was immortal. Now I realize he was human like the rest of us." There were even comments filled with genuine concern. Is Ritchie Blackmore still alive? Showing the level of confusion of the community before such a surprising truth. Realizing his advanced age and declining health has forced many people to look at Ritchie Blackmore from a different perspective. Not only as an artistic icon, but also as a man who has carried the weight of time and silently sacrificed for music for more than half a century. In the immediate aftermath of the tragedy, what was remarkable was not just the concern, but also an unprecedented outpouring of love from around the world. Fans immediately expressed support and encouragement for Blackmore and his wife Candice Knight. On music forums, fan pages, YouTube, and community groups, touching messages began to appear with increasing frequency. "We don't care if you can't move like you used to, as long as you can still hold your guitar, still make music. That's enough. Take a break if you need to, Ritchie. But don't ever think you have to be perfect to be loved." Many even shared touching personal stories about how Blackmore's music helped them cope with loss, heal from loneliness, or inspire their artistic paths. Such flashbacks have turned online forums into a living memorial, not to a death but to a glorious journey that continues. Not only the general public, but also musicians, music critics, and young guitarists have spoken out in unison. They not only share their regrets, but also honor the great artistic legacy that Ritchie Blackmore left behind. A series of tribute videos and analytical comments on his playing style have gone viral. The comparisons between the young Blackmore with his lightning-fast string strikes, his air-splitting sound, and the mature, quiet, and profound Blackmore with the Renaissance style in Blackmore's Night Show, an artistic journey that few can replicate. A veteran musician wrote, "Blackmore was not just an excellent guitarist, he was a true composer. Every note he played had its soul." Meanwhile, a young guitarist from Japan shares in an emotional cover video. "I learned guitar because of Ritchie Blackmore. I still study his use of vibrato and his chord progressions like storytelling." It is this outreach that reminds the world that Ritchie Blackmore's impact was never just in his music. It was also in the people he touched with his guitar, generation after generation. Seeing Ritchie Blackmore no longer the vibrant artist on stage as before, many fans could not help but choke up at the image of a legend now weak and old. But in that fragile moment, Blackmore began to share rare thoughts about his legacy, the things he regretted, and what lies ahead. Is he preparing for his final farewell? Let's listen to a little of his thoughts. Legacy, regrets, and what's next. He was originally renowned for his reluctance and lack of personal information. But now that his health is no longer a mystery, Ritchie Blackmore is finally opening up about his life. Now that he is over 80 years old, he is no longer the untouchable figure he was during his golden days. Rather, he is a seasoned artist who is addressing old age and the limits he never acknowledged before. During this period of stillness, he is beginning to talk about things that he has never confessed before, including his scars, his torments, and his questions about the future that he has not yet addressed. At one point in time, Ritchie Blackmore was the type of person who could not tolerate any errors, whether they were in every note, every phrase, or every rhythm. He made the admission in a very unusual private interview, saying, "I have always strived for perfection. Nevertheless, there are occasions when I get the impression that I am never good enough." Not only have his self-imposed creative standards become famous over several decades, but they have also come at a price. Candice Knight, who is his wife, said that even when his body was no longer flexible, he continued to practice rigorously for hours every day. This was done in order to ensure that when he took up the guitar, everything was still precisely how he intended it to be. She went on to say that the thing that was tormenting Blackmore was not the cancer itself, but rather the concern that his admirers would see him fall short of his previous level of performance. It was an internal conflict that only those who strived for perfection and those who were artists could completely comprehend. As Blackmore reflects on his lengthy and contentious career, he does not shy away from the questions that are asked concerning his disagreements with former members of Deep Purple and Rainbow. As he puts it, "There are things that I ought to have done differently all along. The fact that I allowed my ego to triumph over me prevented me from making an effort to maintain connections that may have resulted in more significant outcomes." He freely confesses that there were instances in which, due to his refusal to make any creative concessions, he decided to deviate from the course, which resulted in fractures that could not be repaired. Nevertheless, he does not harbor any regrets over his decision to pursue his artistic ideals. The purity of the artistic process is holy to him. However, there is a trace of remorse seen in the eyes of a guy who is getting close to his 80th birthday. Certain songs were never played due to personal disputes, and I can't help but think whether those songs were perhaps the finest ones. Blackmore has never actually said goodbye to his profession. Thus, this is not even close to being a career-ending act. He continues to write from home, not because he feels obligated to do so, but because music is still ingrained in his being, despite the fact that his physicians have cautioned him against traveling and that his health has numerous limits. "I can't stop writing music for the same reason that I can't stop breathing," he adds in a low voice, but with a lot of feeling. Candice Knight also adds that the pair is now concentrating on smaller, more car-friendly events that are located closer to their homes rather than extended tours. He can keep the performance routine that he has loved throughout his whole life as a result of this, which not only helps him stay connected to his audience. When Blackmore is asked if he intends to record another album, he just grins and makes the following statement: "There is no guarantee. However, if I have the impression that there is anything that truly has to be communicated through music, then I will express it." Now, as Blackmore gradually withdraws from the public eye and lives his life more quietly with the people he cares about, people no longer view him as an unbeatable rock god. Instead, they see him as a guy who lived, loved, and created sounds that shook the globe. He is also learning how to say goodbye in the most beautiful manner possible. Will he return to the stage is probably no longer the question that has to be asked. On the other hand, how will his legacy continue to live on in the hearts of music lovers? What do you think when you see a legend like Ritchie Blackmore facing the limitations of age? Should greatness be defined by the peak or by how fully an artist lives until the end? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting updates. Thank you and see you.